Remember, we didn't mention it up to this point, but you need to be in the top 3 of your group in order to move on to the Phase 1 playoffs, and you play each person in your group just once. So every matchup, very important, including this one, Olympus Bolts, Atlantis Leviathans, starts right now.
Thank you, Dave and Gore. It is Agro and Mifflin bringing you the kickoff game of the SPL group stages. And
of
boy,
that Retribution Ultimate, being able to strip away defense, by and large, just a pretty good thing to do.
Rongu the first target. Sunder after the pluck, and no shot. This Athena survives. Venenu claims first blood, but it was the front line of Jake and Lazarus setting it up.
I mean, Athena, for my money, still one of the best, if not the best support in the game right now. The second she takes over to 5, that global presence as well as the engage factor come late, so strong.
Yeah, Venenu not wanting to be there anymore. I mean, Lazarus does not have a whole lot of backup for him. But
Itemization has not really screamed Zhongqi to me inside of the mid-mage lineup, but it's been seeing a lot of play. Must be a script monster, as you said.
Shinto going to use the beads as he got plucked and sundered. And Rongu, oh, why don't we just turn on this guy? We've got last breath ticking, and Lazarus going to be able to pick up another kill. Bolts up 2-1 right now over the Leviathans, and both kills on the Leviathan support.
But despite having the kill advantage, it's still the Leviathans getting aggressive in solo. Haddock steps up to the blue buff and pays the iron price. Unfortunate circumstances lead to his death, and the Leviathans maintain a slight gold lead.
They're in a good position. Panatom with a slight level advantage over Lazarus, despite Lazarus' kill participation. The Merlin and the Nemesis. Nemesis on the higher end of objective DPS for assassins. Chiron on the lower end among the hunters, but don't think Medusa's really out DPSing him by that much. So blue buff invade once again. Haddock's got it last time all by himself, but then paid for it. Julio plucked in. Big knockup from him. Haddock's boulder doesn't find a whole lot. Then immediately in trouble, but tanky enough on the Zhongqi to survive the onslaught. Rongu again on the receiving end of last breath, and this time he's not feeling quite as bad about it. It's a double kill for Panatom, and the bolts nearly come up empty-handed. Venenu's dot eventually does the job on the Rongu with a nice backstep into push by Haddock. Still not enough. Leviathans coming up 3-1 over the Bolts.
The Bolts getting aggressive in the enemy jungle yet again. The Leviathans using that reactive style to make sure that these buff invades don't go their way. And so far, the fight's a lot less than when it does when you're ahead. You can usually utilize it if you've got a level lead. Just maintain that aggressive play style. But from behind, well, no matter how much defense you build, you're still going to fall pretty easily.
Well, his damage not too bad. Takes about a third of Yarkor's HP, but Yarkor given better than he got.
Yeah.
There's the ultimate coming in. Masterful shot not needed. Panatom gonna grab it with the last tick of that shield. 5-0-1 now for the Leviathan's jungler. And everywhere Lazarus goes, his shadow seems to be right there in Panatom.
And what a great time to find that pick. 4 stacked on the Leviathans on the gold for you. Already dropped down to 50%. Jake and Ven have the flank.
Taunt on time in order to let the Leviathan secure, but it looks like they want to disengage. BRZA here at a good position. Yarkor not quite as lucky with his positioning. Jake no blink, so it's going to be hard for him to catch up. Petrifies there for Barracuda, but now his dash is down, and Panatom has yet another meal. Shinto going to claim that one for himself. Venenu caught in a bad spot as well, and when it rains, it pours. Ven actually going to turn it around.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Zhongqi still good in those moments. Ven finds 2 from the grave, including a massive shutdown on the Panatom. Just about the golden experience, but as you mentioned, Venenu pretty close to a non-factor without that ultimate or any relics. But instead, they're just going to try and pick Jake, body block him out. Lurking in the water is certainly not going to be enough. And that divine retribution again comes through from Panatom and allows them to pick up another kill. 5-1-4 now for the jungler, and this could open up the Fire Giant.
It's just so simple. Athena taunt into defense shred is going to get you a kill, and it doesn't matter who it's on. That was the support. That is awesome Jake 408, who was immediately removed from the map. Leviathans use this time to back up towards the Fire Giant and generate threat. They do pull it, but keep your eyes on Lazarus. He's got the flank, and the entirety of the living bolts are here for the defense.
And there's no one tanking this Fire Giant besides the back line, but Haddock is going to be the key right now. Buys some space, but Julio waiting for him on his eventual retreat. Rongu going to turn and try and force back Lazarus with that ultimate. He does so successfully. A lot of Blows traded, but not a lot of blood quite yet. Lasbra might be changing that here. Taunted and killed by Yarkor. 2-0 and 2 now for the Hunter. Is Julio still in the thick of the fight? Blinking for Panatom. Barracuda gonna have to dash away. Another good pluck from Awesome Jake. Keeps Panatom at bay.
Leviathans are threatening the base.
They are, and Jake is backed, and Julio gets his back off, which is massive. Lasbra just couldn't get in there to stop it, but still, Julio back, not quite enough. Left Phoenix for mid Phoenix is the trade so far, but Lasbra steps up to clear the wave with no beads. Hello? Hello? You don't have beads against the Athena. That's what's going to happen. Pluck onto Panatom as he's been receiving that defender of Olympus, still willing to surge on forward, and Wrongyu going to grab that one. Haddix's boulder still important, but not as much as that Fire Giant steal. All the while, Barracuda just getting chased down the jungle by Julio, and Leviathans now might be able to just turn around and pinch the ADC, but Haddix stepping up, trying to get the damage on a Panatom, but Venenu's ultimate does nothing that time around. The Leviathans looked like they might have fumbled the bag, but they end up picking it up at the very end, despite the miscue on the Fire Giant. The Leviathans find game number 1.
Man, that is a heartbreaking situation. Not often you get to look at a game where you're behind
versus
that
Chiron
long.
this week seems to have been going well for the opposition. Chiron's been kind of running the show, and Heimdall is safe enough, and I would argue good enough in this position that he'll be able to find a lot of interesting plays.
Mifflin, hello. I miss you, buddy. Where are you? Is it because I said Bazinga?
Am I in?
Is it because I said Bazinga? Look, just because me and Dave, okay, really Dave got me into Young Sheldon in the kit for the Erlong Shen. Serket usually does pretty well into gods like that. We'll see how Panatom can pilot it as Haddix eating a ton of damage over here. And Julio gonna solo him and then stand there and go, okay, I guess you can walk up. Easy first blood for the Leviathans.
4 weeks to a Zapman interview when he was prepping to play against the Bulls, and he said, look, this is what they're going to do. They're either going to try and invade me on my purple buff first time, and it's going to work, and they're going to win, or it won't, and they'll lose. Haddix in some more trouble, man. Julio picks up the second kill for his team off a rotation from Panatom. Look, the Bolts, they've said it. Haddix, you're on your own, man. We want duo lane pressure. It's about those if they want to farm, something Julio's going to have to be cognizant of.
I wonder if Panatom is going to spend time on that right-hand side still, or come here to defend these buffs a little bit more often. So far, it's the latter, coming over to defend, and Lasbra is going to immediately use the Purification Beats. Panatom on the receiving end, and he never even gets his damage off. Barra gets the first kill for the Bolts, and now Yarkor barely able to slip through the Bifrost. He escapes stage left, but Leviathans are running and scattered. This red buff almost certain to go towards the Bolts, and the purple buff should be there as well. But honestly, I kind of like Julio's odds 2v1 at this point.
Yeah, but this might force Julio to go ahead and rotate out a little bit earlier than he would have otherwise. Doesn't want to step up to that tier 2. Wrongyu caught out in mid, takes the shards of ice, loses out on about 60% of his HP bar. Here comes Panatom.
Dumps the whole kit into Jake, and Jake still standing plenty healthy. Double kill for Venenu. A second last breath, a bit of an oxymoron, and Jake still going, I got breath left to breathe. He's still standing despite the onslaught from 2 separate Serket kits, and it's a double kill for Venenu. 2-0 now for the mid laner for the Bolts.
Red buff invaded as well, and Gold Fury now being looked at. The Bolts had a plan. It's duo side pressure inside the jungle, and it's starting to pan out for him. Gold Fury
into a Ymir that is awfully tanky already. Tank boots do that for you pretty much all the time, especially when you've got this much itemization up and ready to go, and the levels in this good of a spot. Panatom doesn't have the escape available. He used it on the Oracles. Good recognition from the Bolts, and Jake gets to claim that one this time around. It's Venenu who did a lot of the heavy lifting.
He's going to go down for free.
Julio is on the way, but I don't think he's going to get here in time. No, Blink does stop Lasbra in his tracks. Okay. And now Wrongyu is on the way with that defender of Olympus. Lasbra, great double knockup and a double freeze coming from Jake. Bails out his jungler. Wrongyu wishes he had that kind of peel. Venenu finds his third in a row, but now under siege. Panatom trying to chase him down. Beads are there, but Last Breath is up and ready to go, but that won't be enough damage on its own. In fact, now the chase is on for Panatom. Ven claims that one over the wall before finally being shut down by Julio, who has all 3 kills for the Leviathans so far. Jake looking at him, but Shinto is the target for Barracuda. 7 now for the Olympus Bolts as they find
solo it into a reset, gives the Bolts time to head back to base. Barracuda gets all the way back and makes his way into the gold tree. This is indecisive play from the Leviathans, not something that we see too often.
And Jake's going to punish him for it too. Blinks in, no Pyromancer for you. Good wall, he
Wow.
does catch Shinto on the back end. Shinto holding the relics as the reinforcements come through. Blink, taunt, Shinto doesn't get the Aegis off in time, as now he's going to transform, but it's too little, too late. Lasbra's gotten that kill, but Jake made it happen. Another great wall coming from this Ymir, and that is awesome from Awesome Jake. That might be just a fire giant now for the Bolts.
A 15-minute fire giant that is back breaking, man. And again, this all happens because the Leviathans couldn't figure out where they wanted to be. They had a 4-man grouping on the Pyromancer before the Bolts even started the Primal Fury, and instead they reset it. Panatom drops down to 20% PvE style up against the raid boss, the Pyromancer itself. Here to potentially look towards the Phoenix if they find a pick. Barring that, they can work their way over to the tier 2 on the right-hand side, but the Leviathans aren't going to make it easy trying to find a pick.
Ben a little bit late on that Aegis. No shot. He survives this. Shinto going to use the ultimate as well. That's 3 ults to shut down Ven. And you know what, Myth?
And Rongyu does have that blink available. Blink taunt into also Sunder as well. Should be able to strip him away. The engagement starts off, and it's Julio in first.
And he's got his backup coming from Rongyu. Shinto going to transform again into the Chiron and put some good damage out on the Bolts, but not good enough. It's Lasbra who's the worst for wear, but still able to stick around for now. Haddock's going to tank up this Phoenix, trying to let Barracuda do it. Nice double taunt coming in. Barra no beads, but not enough follow-up damage coming, but it's Jake who ends up falling instead. Phoenix still plenty healthy, and Panatom does not get quite enough on that dive.
And they should be able to pick it up here. There's no way the Leviathan's going to regroup in time and in numbers enough to take this engagement. Rongyu, Shinto, Yarkor, the only ones in range. Julio crossing through mid. This should go down for free.
Rongyu taunted in by Lasbra, knocked up as well, and Lasbra going to chew through him. 2-0-6 now as he picks up the Leviathan support. Looked like they were all on different pages there, Mifflin. I agree with your assessment that it was going to be difficult to rally.
Opportunity for the Bolts to look towards fire, and the Leviathans nowhere to be seen. Shinto too far away. Rongyu not channeling the ultimate, and Yarkor on the left-hand side. This objective should be pretty easy.
Fire down to below half, but they're going to kill Julio instead. Goodbye lead for the Cucullin. He gets exploded by the Fire Giant. Nice double ultimate there coming from Haddock, and he's not done quite yet. Still surging forward as the rest of the Bolts go back and finish off the objective. Now with Oni waves at a comeback for the Leviathans.
The minion wave on the right-hand side already starting to work its way into the base. Seems like to me the Bolts are waiting for that opportunity. The second those fire minions pull the Titan, the second they see someone on the side of the Leviathans go for the defense, that should be where they look to engage already. They spot out Shinto on the right-hand side, and here they go. They're in.
Phoenix down to half already. Julio going to blink in, then jump away, but taunted right back in, and Jake is going to get the last hit. Left side Phoenix already gone. Panatom stunned up, still has the beads. He has to use them and jump away. And no one on the Bolts looking worse for wear. Only a Sunder down for Jake. That's it. Last remaining hope, by the way, for Leviathans and Yarkor. Just ulted away. Had to because of the pressure from Haddox. And now all 3 birds are down. And it's only the Titan standing between the Bolts and a Game 2 victory. They're waiting for this mid-wave blink in from Jake. Gets the beads from Yarkor. Nice double taunt, but it's only onto the front line from Rongyu as the Titan gets whittled down to 75%. Lasbra taunted and ulted by Panatom, but it is not enough. The Bolts, despite a catastrophic start for Haddox on the right side of the map, managed to win Game 2.
Here because she's been gone for 6 months that we've really been able to see. I'm excited to see how this is going to go there for Shinto. But Erlong Shin, Ares, the Erlong Shin saved Ymir a lot of times early on. Ares is a really good pickup into this draft. That cleanse is going to be crucial from the hell.
The Olympus Bolts love their Game 3s, and we got another one here. Aggro and Mifflin will take us in.
Thank you, Gore and Sheldon. Sorry, Dave, you guys are just so synonymous with one another that I got you mixed up sometimes. Game 3 coming at you between the Leviathans and the Bolts. And Miff, it has been 2 fairly quickly paced games, at least through the early. usually with one jungler
Gonna
heavily
go for. Expect to see some pestilences get picked up. Brothers beat stick likely going to be looked at as well. Wouldn't be overly surprised if Barracuda goes for something like the Toxic Blade, since it seems like he's going for this new age ADC build as well.
Julio in trouble. Beads just late. Needed those to land. And I think Julio's got nowhere to go. Eventually, Haddix's cooldowns will come back up. But it's Lasbra who gets first blood with an early gank on the solo lane.
And that's so different for Lasbra. Normally, he's over here in the duo lane, getting ready for the red and purple buff invades. So, it is a
mid, but
distinct shift.
with lane pressure in the Leviathan's favor, Panatom goes 2 for 2 on the buff invades.
They do, but are they able to make it out? Jake stops the back. Panatom caught out, surrounded by 3. Gets the jump over the vine wall. Season 8 tossing a hand his way, but the Blink Forge should spell his doom.
Venenu right on time as well. Lasbra with both early kills, and when I introduced the game to, one jungler has often got pretty far ahead and the other one is lagged behind, to have Lasbra start off 2-0 is important. And look at this, Rongu and Yarkor, bit of a lazy back, not realizing that they could get pinched from underneath. Chains are good from Jake, and Rongu is cooked by the Ares. Jake puts himself on the board.
That is a tough start for the Leviathans here. 3 kills for the Bolts in as many minutes, and already it's keeping the pressure up. Julio still level 4, might get sold out here.
He got soloed. The rookie-on-rookie violence continues. Haddix gets the better end, but now Panatom looking to get it back. Haddix is completely out of mana. Panatom just one auto short of being able to get it done. Good beads coming from Haddix there. Beads doesn't panic. Jake doesn't get a lot for that ultimate.
Yeah, this Ares was picked up directly to counter out this Awilish, and the Hell was done for the same reason into the Ares. Rongu trying to get aggressive, finds the tail whip, forces the beads off of that.
Cleansed there by Shinto, but the Hails are not coming through in time. Venenu gonna add another one, and Haddix has arrived to the mid lane, but so has Julio. Double knockup underneath this tier 1 tower, and Jake gonna have to limp away. 5 kills now for the Bolts, 0 for the Leviathans, but Venenu did expend the purification beads. But still get the beats, so not all bad. Still does cost them a couple of ultimates in order to do so. And now it might be this right-hand side that's in trouble. Rongu does find a tail whip, but no gravity surge from Panatom as the collapse is on for the Croc. Venenu gonna meet up with Panatom, trade some damage each other's way. But Venenu's still feeling pretty good. Rongu does not. No lurking in the waters means there is truly no escape from Jake's ult.
And that's the Leviathan on their side of the map. Now the Bolts making use of this time, looking towards the Pyro. It's up to Julio to stop it.
Panatom's here, and he still has his ultimate. Haddix gonna hop on the horse right away just to force Panatom back. Julio as well, and the Bolts do step up to secure that Pyromancer. But the Leviathans are surging, looking for a little bit more damage. They know Jake doesn't have his ultimate, and Jake has been isolated. Knockup pulls in Haddix, but I don't know if that's the target Panatom wanted. Meanwhile, Shinto is just soloing out Venenu, and he gets the kill by himself. Haddix now on his last legs, and Shinto gonna turn around and pick up the double. Leviathan's first 2 kills on the board couldn't have been on a better target.
Now Shinto gonna have a much Pyromancer dead already, means that it's really only, or the only rather, POI on the map. Barracuda forced out, Desert Fury expended, but the team fight
big
goes away
fight.
the Bolts.
And Panatom's already gone. Shinto goes alongside him. Relics did not make a difference for the Leviathans mid laner, both on cooldown now, as he's got to watch as the Bolts take away whatever they want from the map, and they're starting with the Gold Fury. Great engage coming from Jake and Lasbra. Looks like
Ability to
Lasbra
sustain up throughout these fights has already been hamstrung by the Bolts.
mid tier 1 down to half on the Leviathan side of the map, and the Bolts are now grouped as 5, looking to make that half a full 0. But blink in from Rongu, pull back in. It's awesome Jake, but he's got the purification bead still about half HP. Yarkor's ultimate doesn't find a lot of purchase, but Barracuda's does. He knocks an arrow and takes down Panatom, and a big pull coming for awesome Jake. Takes down Rongu. Now 2 members down on the side of the Leviathans, and 5 healthy members of the Bolts marching on towards the Fire Giant.
The Bolts woke up. They woke up in game 3, man. It is decisive play, isn't it? They're just walking into the tower. All right, we win this fight. And then they do. They take a fight inside the enemy red buff, back up to the gold free. Now, Fire Giant, 15 minutes in, again, this is incredibly early for a Smite match, is being looked at. Julio, the only one in range to defend, and he thinks better of it. Level 14
Has put some
Cullen.
decent pressure on the #1 seed.
It has so far. Now the Bolt's in a position to either go into
Oh
tier 2
no,
or just
Mifflin,
find
they
some
walked into
picks.
traffic. They walked directly into traffic. Immediately, Lazbra, no hesitation, right there with it. Nice pull in from Panatom. The pit does get Leviathans not dissuaded though. FG down to about half as Julio blinks in to get HP information. It instantly gets sent packing. Venenu gonna be able to burn him down, and Lazbra charges on in. Shinto's Aegis only delays the inevitable. Rampaging is the jungler for the Bolts, but Panatom finally puts an end to it. But the Bolts might just be putting an end to this set up against the Leviathans. Now it's just Panatom left standing. Lazbra the only one on the respawn for the Bolts. Case call, and it's free gold on the map, but the Bolts more interested in getting this left side Phoenix down. Blink in from Julio, two-man knockup. Jake gets pulled in, and BRZA on the run already. Lazbra boost speeds alert as he goes in, but Julio is just getting eaten alive on the back end, and he goes right into the waiting arms of Jake, who burns him up. Panatom goes down, but the dual lane of the Bolts has fallen. Both Jake and BRZA on the respawn. That means this left side Phoenix Siege could take a little bit longer. No Hunter with which to take it down, and the Bolts still not dissuaded. They have their healer in Haddix, still standing strong, but Shinto doing the same on the other side for the Leviathans.
That whole fight goes south when Lazarus laid on the beads. It separates the engagement into a 2v2 and a 3v3 in the back. That's the only way the Leviathans are going to fight in. Huge impale changes the engagement. Haddix has to run.
He's got to back it up, but
Their engagement takes a hit, so Lazarus going to play further into the back line and just burn down the Fire Giant itself. Julio, first one in.
As he has been all game, he jumps in right into the rage transformation, but that means he doesn't get a knockup. Jake going to pull in just wronged you, and that's not enough to change the course of the fight. But how about Lazbra trying to take the 1v1 up against Panatom amidst the squad? Yarkor, good impale onto Haddix, and the back line of the Leviathans is in dire straits. Jake is going to grab them both. It's a double kill for the support, and there is not a lot of damage left for the Leviathans. The Bolts did lose Lazbra, but neither Shinto nor Yarkor up and standing as the Bolts again forego the fire, this time going for the mid-Phoenix.
Mid-Phoenix weakened from earlier on, never going to come back in full strength. Gravity Surge comes through, finds Barracuda.
And BRZA had no relics, but it's not enough to take him down. In fact, it's Panatom who falls to the masterful shot of the Olympus Bolts Hunter, and just like that, the Bolts have shocked the Leviathans. They take the very first set here in the group stage.
What a tough one. Haddix stepping forward, but only prolongs the inevitable. The Titan burns away, but that does not mean the Leviathans are out of it just yet. It is the top 3 from each group that moves on. They're going to have to prove it up against the rest of